BLOC Radio.
Okay, Happy New Year.
Yeah,
Ah,
2024, my brother.
yeah, actually I'm so excited because padating a New Year. Well, I'm referring to the Chinese New Year.
Oh, it is. Tama,
Yeah,
tama,
yeah,
tama.
it will be around the same time when this brand new podcast will be watched
Oo.
near the date. Kasi
Oo.
the Chinese New Year 2024 will
2024.
take place early February.
Early Feb.
Although by the time they'll be able to watch this na.
So I hope
Pero
so.
yeah, but then the first episode, our first episode that will feature not just us, but
Yes,
but guests.
we got guests coming up. We got a lot of guests coming up. We got, of course, entrepreneurs and businessmen, and of course, artists, rock stars. I think that's the G's of it all. Anyway, but how are you doing, brother?
Well, I'm great. Really, this is one of the great things that that's going to happen for this 2024. By the way, I am PHILIPP INNO with my co-host here. If you know more about my co-host here, just search him at Google. His name is BENJIE Stanislao.
Well, yeah. Well, I'm Benji for those people who doesn't know me. Of course, hindi naman lahat, no? But I'm Benji Stanislao. I'm an artist and also some ways an entrepreneur. But that's why I'm also here.
Yeah, the main or the key difference of this podcast is that we are representing two different worlds.
Yes.
Your world, my world.
Yeah.
And that's basically, to make it simple, you're coming from the music business or music industry, and I'm coming from the business side of
Industry.
it. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So the key difference is this is not just about music.
Yes.
This is also not just about business.
Yes. That's why I'm so excited for it.
Yes, we are reinventing it so that there will be
Yeah.
a new definition for this music business
Business.
thing. So music plus business equals music business, but not the typical
Music business.
that you're already familiar with.
Oh, we were actually talking about it. When you say music business, it's the business behind the music. But like my brother is saying right now, it's redefining music business.
Yeah, because I'm into business, right? But then
Yeah.
how can I make music or have the music industry by integrating it in my business?
Mismo.
So this is a new approach, a new perspective towards this thing. That's making it more exciting.
Yeah. At saka, the other thing is well, not sometimes. I think most of the time, music people or artists, no, musicians enter, of course, music because of passion. Everybody knows that. And then along the way, they have to figure out the business side of it. And then along the way, they have to figure out other business. Because here in our industry, in the Philippines, it's not that much of the first I know from the beginning. I could remember when you asked me is how many music or musicians are millionaires.
Yeah, because there are lots of musicians that we know who are making music. They're making music, but the remarkable ones are making a meaning. But then later on, you'll realize that there are lots of people who are making a meaning, but not a lot are making millions.
Millions, no? That's the big question then, no? Pero that's actually changing then in some ways because of new technologies with the streaming and whatnot, diba? But then again, is it really making millions or just views or hits?
Yeah, million views.
Million hits.
Million hits.
Baka doon lang yung millions.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. But not like other people. One thing that I'm fascinated about is that, like you've been making millions. No, you've been making millions, but you're also very interested in being an artist and a musician. Which sooner or later they will find out that you have released 5 albums.
So more or less, brother, we're giving them an idea what will be the topic of this podcast.
Exactly.
And I want them to get excited, like what you mentioned. This will be a series of episodes.
It is.
And we're introducing something that are not being done by others, because we would want them to really immerse themselves within. I had this book, inside Steve Jobs' brain. Parang yan, or
Nako.
inside mga ganyan.
Yeah.
Parang that will happen here. We'll get inside the brain of the guests.
One thing I'm fascinated as well is how you structured it, no? Because usually podcasts, episode 1, episode 2, episode 3, ganyan, no? What we were talking about earlier. But the way you structured it is one episode has so many parts, which is, I think it's nice because it's changing, because you always revolutionize stuff. That's how you are wired, I know.
Yeah.
And it's nice because siguro for our viewers, it's more, mas you guys will be more into it because it's not just one panood or one views or one episode. There's a lot of parts so that you could digest it more, I guess, no? And then it's more, what do you call that, engaging, I guess.
Engaging.
Oo, because sometimes hindi siya masyadong himay. What I'm saying is it's not very detailed, but we're not really into detailed naman din. But it's really just nice that we have parts. For one episode, we have so many parts.
Yeah. What among the reasons, brother, is this, we understand people, we understand viewers, we understand even before when I was giving talks before, I was giving talks sa Asian Institute of Management, Management Association of the Philippines, or even sa mga universities. We know, I'm aware that the attention span of people, even in classrooms, it's just around 20 minutes.
Yeah.
So the beauty with this is we chop it or we segmentalize it into this span.
Yeah.
But the beauty about this is they'll also have an opportunity na pag parang naka-binge watching sila, para siyang mundo ko rin, modular.
Yeah.
Parang plug and play siya.
Like, how many podcasts have you watched na sometimes you skip?
Or
di ba?
nakatulugan mo na.
Ganon, di ba? Ako, ang dami ganon. Even though I'm a fan of mga podcasts, no? I'm a big fan of podcasts. Though I haven't really watched so many of it. Sometimes kasi, like, of course, Joe Rogan yan, masarap panoodin yan, di ba? Also some podcasts like Flagrant, Tiger Belly, and Bad Friends, yung mga yan. I like those kind of podcasts. Locally, we have other podcasts.
Howard Stern.
Howard Stern, yan, no? Di ba? Yung mga podcast na ganyan, no?
Yeah, and speaking about that, in alignment with that, let's get this podcasting rolling. Just for the sake of our viewers to have some lexicon,
Yeah.
for them to understand the basic.
I think.
Oh yeah, kasi siguro sa musician, alam na nila to, or pwedeng hindi rin.
And
and
sometimes
some
it's really nice then to have a musician's perspective view. And it's also different back in the days and different nowadays.
You're right. You're right. Yeah. For example, because you're a musician, who is called a musician? When you say a musician, sino ba yan?
Actually, yan, malawak din yan, no? When you write songs, are you a musician? Yes. When you arrange songs, are you a musician? I guess yes. When you sing songs, I guess you're also a musician. When you play instrument, you're also a musician. Diba? So, yan yung mga basic, no? I guess, yun. Kasi, very basic is a musician is a person, syempre, who does music. May it be producing it, arranging it, writing it, singing it, playing it on live. I think that's musician.
Yeah. So siguro, for us to be helpful sa mga who are watching us right now, no? So we'll try to get some answers based sa mga common definitions. Kasi some are differentiating what's the difference between the artist and the musician, and who are the musicians and who are the artists and who are the artist musicians. So parang medyo technicalan ng konti tayo dito.
Tsaka ito just for the viewers, no, I'm not an expert on this, so you could actually comment on some stuff and we could learn about it as well, no. I've been in the industry, actually nagsimula ako sa industry, I didn't want to be a musician, no. I was just a fan of music, and then all of a sudden, some friends nagyaya, that's actually our guitarist, si Johan, no, of my band, the Chonkies, niyaya niya lang kami, and then we started doing it, and I became a musician. That's about it. No, I mean, I didn't really intend to be a musician, because I was a skater. You know, that's my love and passion sa simula. To the point na tinatabi ko yung skate ko sa tabi ng
Yeah.
higaan ko, no? Until I played Asian X Games. But that was back in the
Cool.
yeah, but that was back in the 90s. But when I played Asian X Games, I said, oh, I mean, you know, okay na ako doon. That was really nice. And then after that, slowly faded because you get age, and you know, and there are some other stuff na naging priorities, and then music came in. And then when music came in, ayun, I just became a musician. And I've been in this industry for 20 years now. So I think if we're gonna talk about merit, meron naman, because being in a band and as a musician, we experienced na we were signed, we experienced that we were managed, but most of the time, it was just us. So splitting ourselves as an artist and managing it, that's two different worlds as well.
By the way, you mentioned Johan. Brother Johan, shout out to you.
Oh, yes.
Hopefully, you're enjoying our podcast here.
And sooner or later.
Yep.
Sooner or later, di ba?
You know what we're referring to. So I'll just mention some things about parang gusto ko talagang maintindihan ng audience natin the difference between the musician, the artist, and then when naririnig na sino rin yung artist musician but pinag-combine. And then mga tanong lang, are singers automatically musicians, or are singers automatically artists, di ba? So sabi nga a musician plays music. No? He may or may not have written it.
Yes.
Okay? So an artist creates art. No? In the context of music, they wrote it. Yung artist, di ba? Sinusulat yan. So a person who creates music is usually called an artist and not a musician.
Yeah.
Okay? A person who creates music, is usually called an artist and not a musician, even though they are both. A person who does not write music is usually called a musician. Kulang pa yun, ha? Kasi bigyan yung Kasi usually musicians, sa akin, sa pagkakintindi ko, these are the technically skilled. Hindi yan yung parang nakatugtog lang ng onti, musician ka na.
Yeah.
Dapat yan professional na, parang gano'n. So, both artists and musicians are essential to the music industry, but they have different roles and responsibilities.
Yeah.
Okay, an artist is more concerned with the creative and expressive side of music, while a musician is more focused on the technical and performance aspect.
Yeah.
Okay, so nakaka-relate ako dito kasi we have friends who are musicians,
Yeah.
but not necessarily automatically artists.
Kaya nga, I mentioned a while ago, they are performing artists.
Oh, there are. Yeah. So yun nga, ang tanong, who is called an artist? So sabi, an artist is a person engaged in an activity related to creating art, practicing arts, or demonstrating art. So it's more on the creation, and then practicing it, and then demonstrating it. Demonstration is the performance. Art is more about breaking the traditional ideas. Kasi di ba parang, when you write a new song, wala pang ganun eh.
Yeah.
O baka yung melody mo, wala pang ganun.
Wala pang ganun.
So art is more about breaking the traditional ideas. A revolutionary who invents a new art, like a new music. Parang bagong music.
Bagong music.
Doon ko na-appreciate eh. Kasi syempre, as an inventor, parang doon ako na-excite. Kasi parang you have this opportunity na wala pang ganito.
Then you create it.
Yes. Doon ako nakaka-relate doon sa artist side niya. A musician can be simply someone who is very skilled at
playing music, creating music.
Yes. So, an artist, tuloy ka lang, is someone with a vision who is able to create music or be able to contribute to music creation. Kasi pwedeng ikaw may vision. Napanood ko nga si Michael Jackson before.
Yeah.
When he was making, it's not actually playing instruments
No.
No. But meron siya talagang ang daming
whole team.
The entire team. Pati backup vocals. And then sinabi niya, mag-ano na siya sounds. Tapos habang sinasayaw-sayaw niya, parang gano'n, Pag tinignan mo, hindi naman siya talaga nag-play ng instrument. But then he's making music. So that's another thing. A musician, on the other hand, ulitin ko, someone with a vision who is able to create music or be able to contribute to music creation. O, nag-create din siya. Parang collaborator siya or what. Or in a way, guiding, parang gano'n. Ito yung in-expect kong tunog. Parang something ganyan. A musician, on the other hand, is someone who plays instruments writes and perform music. Sabi dito, ang ganda nito, brother. While all musicians are artists, all artists may not necessarily be musicians. Kasi doon pumapasok yung mga singers. Yung singers na may nag-create ng song na yun, kakantahin lang nila.
Yeah.
Hindi naman din sila nag-play ng ano. So technically, singers are not automatically
Musicians.
artist musicians.
Yes,
diba?
yes.
So, sabi nga, kunyari, di ba, yung mga pop artist, hindi naman sila nagsusulat ng kanta nila eh. Pinuproduce yun, ina-arrange yun, tsaka may mga musicians who play instruments for that, di ba? So, they are not really technically considered as musicians.
Generally.
Yes, oo. Pero may mga musicians, like Taylor Swift, Ed Sheeran, di ba? Ano yan eh, baga sila nagsusulat, sila nagplay, sila nagperform. And meron pa nga musicians like, sino to? Si Charlie Puth. Tama ba yan? Yung siya yung may nakuha lang siyang tunog sa ganyan. I-develop niya the entire music from the bass to the drums. Meron din mga ganyan. So, a musician can be an artist, but not all artists are musicians. So, singers, like other musicians, are considered artists because they use their voices and musical talents to create expressive and emotional works that are appreciated for their artistic and aesthetic qualities. Pwede din kasi mga singers naman, di ba, may mga pagkumanta sila.
That's the thing.
Yeah.
When you sing ba, that's not music? Without instruments, like a cappella.
A cappella.
Is that music? That could be a music.
Yeah, kasi imagine Michael Jordan. When he dunks the ball, for me, it's an art.
Yes.
Diba? And then he's an artist.
He's an artist.
He's an athlete.
Actually, yung how he not perform, how he does his athletic skills, it's not basic. So he puts in his own style. So putting your own style to a craft probably makes you an artist. When you put your own craft into it, like there are other musicians who knows how to play music, but when they make music, mas nagdidepende sila do sa mga expert who does it. Because I've seen like he knows how to play the drums, he'll drum it, pero kukuha pa rin siya ng mas magaling sa kanya to do it.
Yun yung musicians.
Di ba?
Not necessarily who created
the music.
Pero sila yung mas skilled.
Pero yung artist na yun, or that singer, knows how to play
the fundamentals.
Yeah, so, di ba?
He has this vision.
Yeah.
He knows what he's expecting.
Yeah.
And then, yun nga, dinidevelop nung I think we can also use this, what's the difference between a chef and a cook?
Yan.
Okay, di ba? Kasi, di ba, sabi nga, what's the difference between the chef and the cook? Alam niyo ba? Di ba? Sabi daw, cook by the cookbook.
Yes.
Meaning, ilang tablespoon of this, ilang cups of this, parang ganyan. After 5 minutes, ganito, ganyan. So, they are referring to a manual.
Yeah.
That manual was created by a chef.
Yeah.
So, yun yung difference. Kasi, nandun uli yung pagiging artist, the creative. Diba? Na parang, ibig sabihin, he wants, or he or she wants to concoct a new dish.
Yeah.
Wala pang ganito.
Wala pang ganyan.
Parang,
O mix two dishes to create something new.
in our world, that's innovation.
Yes.
Kasi invention is wala pang nag-exist.
Nag-exist.
Pero innovation is,
something exists that you innovate.
yes, parang pinag-fusion,
Yeah.
parang ganyan. Or
Parang ganon, no?
Oo.
So I think it's really broad, and there's again me and my brother Philip here. We're not experts into all this naman, but we're trying to dig deeper, no? As what is a musician and what is an artist. Now, when you say artist, that's a whole big topic as well, no? Like sabi mo, Michael Jordan. I think some people say, no, it's not art. He's an athlete. Yeah, he's an athlete, but the way he does his skills, na hindi kapareho ng iba, and he put something new to it, I think that's an art.
With grace, di ba?
With grace, with power,
Yeah.
with different.
And with the tongue hanging out from his...
That's expression naman,
Oh,
no?
yeah, diba?
Now sometimes when we dig and we dig into it, and then we chop everything, being detailed, no? There's this line between opinions know, and facts, di ba? And sometimes, yun nga, I know a lot of artists who does their own music. I mean, imagine, like for example, Dave Grohl, ano yung first album ng Foo Fighters? That's all him.
Yeah.
That's all him.
He recorded it all, and then whenever he's sharing it to his friends, they love it.
Yeah.
Until he said, "That's me." Oh, shit. Parang gano'n. Ikaw pala yan. Wala yan. Parang gano'n, di ba? Kasi ikaw pala yan. Pero nung hindi pa nila alam na siya, parang that was great. Di ba? Parang that's made all by himself.
Yeah. In my band, what we do is, Johan will create something, and then lahat kami will go into it, but there's first a creation, and then maglalapatan kami. No? So, that's parang ambagan.
Collaborative yan.
Yeah, collaborative. And also, like, for example, Ian Tayaw, now a good friend of mine, when he does music, he has a vision right away. He knows how it sounds in his head, but then he takes different artists na alam niyang mas ta-translate to. No? I'll not spill more stories about that because
nga.
Diba? We might, of course, he will be in this podcast sooner or later. Of course, diba? Kasi there's a great story about it, about his drummer, about yung nawala yung drummer na yun, and then bumalik, saka lang ulit niya na, ito, pwede na. Because sometimes, as me, like if I collab with some other artists, merong okay, but then, alam ko may mas okay pa dyan, tas hindi natin magawa kasi wala pa yung tao na yun for that. No? So, may mga ganong aspect, no, na as being an artist, sometimes yung mga iba, as pag nasa banda, like going back to Dave Grohl, if anybody would watch yung docu nila, there's some parts there na medyo, he was a douchebag, I don't know if that's the right word, di ba, about his band. But then, along the way, you realize na it's right, na palitan niya yung drums ng kabanda niya because he's a drummer. So these are a lot of fundamentals and a lot of subjects inside of being a musician and being an artist. Because sometimes being an artist, stubbornness is there. Being an artist, nandyan yung walang, what do you call that? What's the word I'm looking for? Not compromising. Uncompromising. Because that's his art.
You know, yung binanggit mo kay Dave Grohl, I think dun yung one exemplar of an artist versus a musician. He was the artist. That's the reason why pinalitan niya, di ba? Parang inulit niya yung mga drums. Kasi nga, he's the one who envisioned what he's expecting. Now, he's trusting, you're a musician, you should know better because you're a skilled musician. So, performed it according to my vision. But he's not delivering it. So, nagkataon ano siya, parang pagkakaalam ko, parang drummer din ba siya dati? Joke, of course. He's the drummer of Nirvana, di ba? So, imagine.
Oo, yun nga. So, sometimes, I think meron nga ganun sa Foo yung mga, ang hirap maging drummer ng Foo Fighters because yung vocalista nyo drummer. Diba? And he's not just a drummer. He's a drummer of a legendary band.
A Hall of Famer.
Yeah. That's why big respect sa tumagal na Taylor Hawkins.
Yeah.
Because nahuli agad niya yung gusto niya.
Tsaka the respect, even yung yung mutual respect. Talagang they achieved that. Actually, Dave loved Taylor Hawkins so much. Like
it's just sad because another best friend na wala. Same thing yung nangyari sa kanya sa Nirvana.
Yes.
Sa amin naman, if I'm gonna go in my band, there are times na, yun nga, ang unang-unang napalitan namin sa banda in original is our drummer. You know, he already also passed away many years before. Many years. But the reason why pinalitan namin siya is because he cannot deliver na ngayon yung talagang gusto namin. And then he has another heart for another music, not our genre. But our genre is not just a genre, it's a mixed genre. That's why we worked it. We actually, I don't know, siguro sa akin lang, revolutionize yung way of local reggae music. I know there's a lot na gumawa before us. But sa amin, we just gave a new flavor, I guess. That's why we worked. Anyway, going back to the drummer, ayun, so kaya namin yung napalitan because, like you said, hindi na ibibigay ng musician yung gusto ng artist.
Okay.
Musician and artist.
Mhm.
Di ba?
Going back to Dave Grohl, kasi if I may share lang din, when I started, kasi you mentioned kanina, I did 5 albums in a
Oh,
year.
we're gonna talk about that next time din. Mahaba rin yan. But then go ahead. Yes.
This is just related to Dave Grohl, 5 albums, at least 50 songs, Pero when I
Let me
started-
repeat that to your viewers. 5 albums. In
Within a year.
Within-
11, technically nga, walang a year yun. Pero sabihin natin within a year. Kasi 5 albums, 50 songs, and a 4-track EP.
yan. At baka mamaya sa mga ibang nagtatanong, so, are you a musician or are you an artist?
Which will make this podcast even more interesting. Oo. Kasi mamaya, after this, gusto kong itakal naman natin, brother, who are considered rock stars. Who are considered as rock stars. Okay. Nadali. Pero balikan ko muna to, Kasi when I started, of course, I'm not considering myself nga as a musician, nor an artist musician,
Yeah.
Although when an artist, research nyo na lang. Actually, yun na nga, I got awards sa mga designs and everything. Pero, ang pinag-usapan dito, going back to Dave Grohl, was this, I remember, sabi nyo nga, di ba parang, for the Chonkies to make music, you needed each other. Starts with Johan writing it, and then the basic riffs, and then yung ganun,
Yeah.
Sa akin, when I started making my first song, so very raw. Hindi ko naman inisip na magiging 50 yung first song pero natuwa ako, nung first song, it was just all guitars. All guitars. So, I wrote it, tinugtog ko, kinanta ko. Ito yung funny dun sa first song. When we recorded it, napaka primitive
Yeah,
recording, hindi ko alam na pwede mo pala i-cut, na pwede mong i-edit and rectify and mix and master. Yung mga ganun. Wala akong idea doon.
Yeah.
Together with the one who helped me, my son, si Liam, Wala kami alam. Imagine take namin, buong kanta.
Panikamali, ulitin nyo?
Yeah! Imagine. Tapos, naalala ko pa, they thought, Liam was there, and bumisita rin sa AJ to send us food, di ba? They thought that it was just easy. Until I let them try singing it, they can't. Hindi sila makalayo. Yung nga lang part na la 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 la, parang sila nabubulol, no?
This is that's another thing with aligned with that subject, no. There's a big chunk of difference when you are actually recording a song. Ang weird because pag nasa studio ka na,
Yun.
ang hirap niya.
Parang hindi nakikisama nung nagpa-practice ka.
Yeah.
Yeah, parang wow.
Not even just sa singing, even sa playing.
Yeah, I witnessed that.
No, ang weird. I don't know because conscious ba or dahil ayaw magkamali or because dahil nasa what do you call that? Magnifying glass ka. That's why it's hard that way. Kaya mapapansin mo shoutout sa bassist namin si Ness. Pag pinanood niyo yung tower sessions namin or tower radios namin, most of the time makikita niyo steady si Ness, steady. Hi Ness. steady. But when he's on stage, he does his things sa stage, malikot, headbanging and all that stuff, 'di ba? But then pagdating
sa recording,
even do sa tower nga, sa tower
tower,
radio, tower
show.
session, because you're in a magnifying glass. So alam mo, rinig, and the way yung quality ng tower, of course, big up sa tower, yung quality kasi nila, marinig mo pag mali ka.
Yeah.
And that's the difference between back in the days that we started a while ago, what I was telling you. There's a big difference back in the days and now. Back in the days when it's film, it's tape, real, rather than digital. Magkaiba.
Pero sa process naman, may matututunan ka rin. Ako, may natutunan ako, brother. So, nung una, yun nga, di ba, pag-practice, kaya. Pag-recording, sablay. Mapipissed off ka. Kasi
Yes.
mapapagod ka, mauubos yung
Yes.
boses mo and what, gagalingan mo ngayon.
Yeah.